Texas A&M versus Missouri at noon, belt to ass. A&M, just absolute domination, 41-10. I think they hit the over. I'm sure some people were happy that field goal winning at the end there, but
man,
Missouri just didn't have it in them. But for A&M, what stuck out to you?
Yeah, and I think the question I had going into this game was like, I wanted Marcel Reed to start. I saw what he's done. He's done nothing but win. So how do you start somebody different? Connor Wegman lost, the opening game against Notre Dame at home in College Station. I was wondering post-game, would you have won this game with either guy? I don't know, because all I could focus on was how good Wegman played. I mean, I don't know if it was Missouri coming out with a different game plan focused on the dual threat capability, but they looked a little, limp in the back in the defensive side of the ball, and Wegman just pieced it apart. So I think the story for this game is you got a guy going forward who is solid. I mean, he can piece some defenses apart that have good backs. And I like this Texas A&M team now behind him. I hate to be flip-floppy, but they looked good.
They look good. I mean, if the hot hand has been working for them, I think that's what you got to do in college football. I mean, we're seeing it a little bit at Florida. They're going to run Lagway and Mertz all season, but at A&M, Wegman played great. He looked super efficient back there, and he can run a little bit too. I think he had a little bit over 30 yards in the ground. Something like that. So they've looked super impressive. To me, the MVP is Le'Veon Moss. He's entered my dog category. I love me some good players. Like, he is a dog. Oh, he's the new SC podcast dog of the week. 2 touchdowns, hit the big old 75 yards, 3 touchdowns, 75-yard scamper. This was never a game, and Le'Veon Moss right now is first in the SEC in rushing yards after these last 2 weeks against Arkansas. Domination and against Missouri, domination from the score standpoint. So A&M fans, to me, Florida ceiling, your ceiling is raised. Like, once you show me you could do something like this, 41-10, now I'm like, okay, I need to see it for a couple weeks. I need to see it, because you've shown us what you could do, and I don't think that's fully all the way invested on Missouri being frauds. I think that's A&M when you match talent to talent. Missouri and A&M have similar talent. I think A&M's talent is a little more well coached right now.
Yeah, for sure. And shout out Le'Veon Moss, Amari Daniels also getting 2 in there. And the running game was just so solid. It opened up the pass game so much more. When you get things firing on both cylinders, it's so dangerous. And you mentioned, looking forward, like Texas A&M, you need to see it from them long term, and they have the schedule to do it. In this game, I wanted to call out something we talked about in the last episode. We talked about Marvin Burks Jr. from Missouri being a huge run stopper. We talked about him being maybe someone who could stop Marcel Reed, stop Le'Veon Moss. Looking at the game and looking at some of the stats after, against Vandy and Boston College, he played most of his snaps in the box from the free safety position. In this one, it was completely flipped. He had to play free safety. He had to cover the field because Connor Wegman was piecing him apart. He threw Missouri off of their defensive game plan. And it worked. And then defensively, they threw Missouri off of their game plan. We said it. You can't go running downfield with Nate Noel and Marcus Carroll and expect to go anywhere with this Texas A&M front 7. You got to throw the ball. Missouri couldn't do it effectively. A couple mishaps there, here and there, some questionable calls and a couple drops and things like that. But we knew it. Elko knows it. A&M players knew it. If you pressure Brady Cook, he's a little shaky, and they came out and did it.
Yeah, they brought a lot of pressure. I mean, Nick Scorton was everywhere in the backfield. Played a key role in a couple sacks in this game when I was watching the game. And this defense is firing all cylinders. I mean, the last couple of games they've only given up 24 points. I mean, 10 points this past game, and I think 14 points in the last game against Arkansas. Maybe a little bit more, close to that number. And so when you have defensive performances like this, and you get this offensive explosion, which is, I think, one of their highest point totals this season, that's how you find yourself at number 5 and number 3 in the power rankings on the new SEC podcast. You control the game on offense. You've looked to me as one of the most impressive teams in SEC play this season, against Florida domination, against Missouri, who's supposed to be good. Boston College played a close game. Vanderbilt played a close game. A&M beat A.
Yeah. It was a beatdown. I mean, stop the count now. They're in the SEC championship game. It's between them, Texas and LSU undefeated in conference play right now. They're going to get the opportunity to play Texas at the end of the season. It's looking favorable. They're now vying for a spot in the playoffs. I questioned them at the beginning of the year before the season started, even after the Notre Dame game. Like, is this defense what we expected it to be? Does it have potential to get there? I think it does, and it's getting there now. DB's had some room for improvement. They had the PI that didn't get called early. Luther Burden's touchdown getting called back for an offensive lineman downfield. Theo Weiss, like, there was an inch off on that seam ball. I mean, this was all kind of right there at the beginning of the game.
Right.
All things that could have gone. Had it gone the other way, the momentum may have changed, but Wegman played great. If the DBs just continue to improve, we've seen it every week, continue to improve, this is a team that's super, super dangerous. I mean, Miss State, LSU, South Carolina up ahead after a bye week. They have a much needed bye week after going 6 in a row. So
yeah. I think it's a good flow though. You go 6 bye week, 3 bye week, 3. So 6-3-3. I think that's not too bad, especially when you're typically front loaded with some of your more out of conference games where you're probably paying the school to play you. But with Bowling Green, exactly, which Bowling Green was a close game too. They gave him a game though, but A&M is pulling these games out. I think all things considered, if you take away the name bias, it's like this team is first in the SEC right now. They're winning the games they're supposed to be winning. They're winning them pretty dominantly, and any given Saturday. And I think that A&M's in a lot of games on these Saturdays based upon what I've been seeing from them the past couple of weeks. I think I had their projection season start with 7-5, and so they're already well on pace to get to that 7 number or more. But really impressive from what we've seen from A&M. I like them in Mississippi State, LSU, and SC. I think at the beginning of the season, I'm looking at my predictions here on the right. I did predict them to win those games. So we'll see. We'll definitely see. The A&M LSU one's always fun.